Abusia Honorable Kennedy Agyapong atro ni support ediama Naana Jane efa statement bi agwa make ehon na sa statement yi so esanso ekotia NPP fo but Honorable Ken a support Naana Jane abusia statement be ni na ensamba enso kra na Honorable Kennedy Agyapong so workan nyabotremi be yi bia wo sa show yi so ama widen wahwe bia mamensa osese na ede kan a wo de share nya subscribe to your channel yi for update na sa video we a we hwe ni wahu share na like fama yen abusuya yeni kan entie ensem bia na na Jane wo ye den oka ye ba ye be ba be hwe support a chere se Kennedy Agyapong so wo support no I was a statement ni abusuya yen hwe na Jane abusuya yentwo so entie die okan ye biem won se osese nyame ya adom na se bibia be ye na se ye yi a on friend ne ho driver's mate ti said the Dr. Bawumia eka say on wenye main driver na we mate keke ene enwa de ade no ono de on friend ne ho mate abusuya yentwo so entie Professor Naana Jane biem e wo ka say ye ba ye be ba betie Kennedy Agyapong de wono so wo ye den okan
Electoral Commission, I address you directly. It is in the national interest and in your own interest to make transparent what has been and is going on in your establishment. The truth will not be suppressed. You cannot be so independent as to disregard the people who validate your existence. It does not happen anywhere. Easy. A word to the wise is in Asen North.
abusia ema so de se oba yese wo ko ama wa forget you so oba yese wo support wa ema support like eche se esusini bibibia bi ema support wa anu odin ankasa enti NDC Naana Jane afi we pa de obema NDC nwa ye de because me amazing pc me person me experience oba wonu so o really be because I say ye mema nko na ye feel wo mo saa mema nko na ase tem but mema nso mo ba no mo diska no every guess se si a oba nso eba bedi so bi ono nso diska no be we mema nti ye nso mema sika be ba ye ho because sika na ebedi mema ne ho mo de ko ma ho no ene sika ne bedu oba ho nti oba no nso e de bebre ye mema no se de agrada onya sika odi bi ema esien mama na di no abusuya na wati ase yenkohwe Honorable Kennedy Agyapong said the OC supporting Naana Jane na abusuya enye ize utimusa ken abua ne ho utimusa ken empen kwase asem yentie said the OC kasa
say Bawumia advised you to be vice.
No, I wouldn't do it.
You wouldn't do it?
No.
I wouldn't do it means say omo running mate dada. What I say? Yes, it means say omo choose dada, but yentie the say the OC ebe kan sem.
Tell you the truth. Why I cannot be a vice president is that I will speak my mind, and I'm not going to be made.
Won say Naana Jane ekasa no. Was say nyame ya dom na se bibia ekoyi a o me friend no driver's mate. Sounds na ken see the entia ontimi enye Dr. Bawumia na running mate ni say abusuya ontimi meye driver's mate abusuya because on your beka na adwen wo metena ko ma wo nye say unko na wuchika no ba bia pe bia na wo de fa o se wo nye say o se wujimi adakro wo te wo sa na wa dis tia na eden afu nsem a wo no ye den driving na ade according to Honorable Kennedy Agyapong na mesra mo yemfri dio kan so na eye NDC fo nipa Kevin Taylor o say me yanka say we NDC fo nipa na we MPP ni awokita MPP krata abusia Kevin Taylor ekasa e dia fa na Jane eho na me pam chaw yentie de Kevin Taylor wo ye den o kan ye bad ye ewo ko bia ne be hwe e wo sa show yi eso.
People have been asking a simple question that are very dumb. And that question they've been asking and they say, Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman, John Mahama 2020 Okofa and Redian or Rebecca John Mahama. Oh, hey, shut up. You don't understand politics. Yeah, can't anybody who made the John Mahama 2020 campaign effective? It was Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman. The question we need to be asking ourselves and then say, so Okofa running mate, Edian I will pay for running mate in a hole. If you want to pick a running mate, what do you need? You need a running mate to bring in votes. You need a running mate to bring hope to your campaign. You want the running mate to bring something exceptional. Intisana usike nyina edaho ana uvote nyina edaho tenor. You expect to say the running mate you pick no, eni se or drop sa uvote no. E was say oyeden oma uvote no konenim. The moment the running mate gives you positive number, the running mate has served his or her purpose. That is what the priority of picking a running mate. You know? That means some section of the people accept your decision and respect your running mate, and they believe with her helping you, you can achieve what you want to achieve. And it's a Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman. I didn't think JM 2021 what JM, then you that person, you are being diabolic, you are being selfish. So you end this now with Jimmy. Because Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman, what she added to NDC in 2020, no vice president has added that to NDC ticket in the history of the NDC from 1992 to 2020. No vice president. The records are there. Go and check. No vice president. The contribution of Nana Opoku-Agyeman to John Mahama's campaign or ticket in 2020. No vice president in the history of Ghana, whether NPP or NDC, or any presidential candidate. The ticket home. Now let's go into the numbers. Now these are the numbers. This is 2016. 2016, na NDC seat or parliament, na 106. That was when Mahama was leaving power. That was when the propaganda you chato Mahama, so essay Mahama din, essay NDC din. These MPP people made Ghanaians believe, and the world believes, say, NDC Ome Jimmy Oma Anye Bibia. NDC every power 2016, not only 106 seats. Remember, 2012, time na NDC, Mahama epic seat in the Fratanos, na NDC were 148 seats. Time Mahama Frisono, na seats no aka 106. Na NPPL 166 in 2016. The difference now on swing. Time 2012 na NPPL 123. They jumped from 123 to 169. NDC from 146 they dropped to 106. The propaganda ye kato Mahama so. I try ye differ Mahama nene MP so. And some ye kafa NDC for. Sita na ekuta omu 2012 in 2016. From 146, it dropped all the way to 106. Afei, so 2020, Mahama is coming back. He needs something new. He needs Ghanaians to understand, say, he worked. At that point, Ghana for me no, but then now he needs somebody he can trust. Somebody who has been there before. Somebody who commands respect. Somebody who is clean. Very important. Somebody in our political dispensation, in our current politics in Ghana, you will have nothing, no blemish. Mahama needed a face that is a mother, an elderly person who controls and earns respect from both sides across the nation. Mahama needed somebody with credibility. And Mahama chose Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman. Do you think, say, Kosibochi, Uncle NPP, Uncle president? May he so rest in peace. John Mahama bypassed Kosibochi to pick Nana Opoku-Agyeman. It does not make Kosibochi a bad person or a bad politician, But Mahama was looking for something. Mahama was looking for something. And his utmost priority was to make sure before he retires from politics, a woman would take the higher seat and become a vice president of the Republic of Ghana. And not just a woman without blemish, a woman who has credibility, a woman who thinks about Ghana, a woman who's educated and understands theory and practical, a woman whose work can be pointed at and said, you have lived an exemplary leadership life. So John Mahama bypassed Kwesi Botwe and said, I want this woman. You think it's a small thing? Mahama, he's an experienced politician. Majority of politicians in Ghana, they are scared of him because you don't know Mahama's next move. You cannot predict John Mahama. Tomorrow, John Mahama will do something, and that thing he will do will shock you because he's not your normal politician. Because for 3 years, Otumisi a whole UGMC. For 3 years, Otumisi Kotokraba. Just 3 years, Osi Kaswa. Just 3 years, Osi Pokwasi. Just 3 years, Osi Kotoka. Just 3 years, John Mahama SC schools over 50. Just 3 years, John Mahama see over 3,000 chip compounds. Just 3 years, John Mahama see universities or see regional hospital. 3 years, so he can surprise you in politics. So don't underestimate the thinking capabilities or capacity of John Mahama. You are making a big mistake, and that is the strongest point. Mahama in a way like dangerous, no, and how you cannot predict him when it comes to politics because he always thinks ahead of the regular politician. Mahama can tell you in 20 years the decision he's taking today, how it is positively going to impact Ghana. Mahama kotam Ameri by 9 years ago. Today, Asante Hene pre Ameri. That is the impact of a leader. So Professor Mills na muhu no osa may he so rest in peace. On Jimmy yo. Now just say Professor Mills we hu amidu. We hu ko for MPP NDC mu. Professor Mills oyakora or you learned. He looks at character and looks at vision. That's why he picked John Mahama. Even the founder was not so much into the decision Professor Mills was making, but Professor Mills was looking at the next 20 years. What this boy can do. That is why now Professor Mills can say me pick John Mahama. So this is what Professor Naana Opoku-Agyeman came to meet. And Mahama called her and said, Prof, you were my education minister. This is what you are coming to meet. How do we make this a positive number? That is what the flag bearer told Professor. How do we turn this around? We have worked. Everybody knows. Your department and sector alone, you have proven yourself. Now, how do we prove ourselves? Say, these things, we can change it, turn it around. So when you look at a year 2020 elections, Professor Naana Opoku-Agyeman ebe pair John Mahama. They moved the seat from 106 to 137. Also, Professor Naana Opoku-Agyeman brought nothing. With Jimmy, she brought power, respect, dignity, and confidence in the NDC flag bearer. She gave hope to the party. She gave Ghanaians hope. People who never voted for the NDC in 2020, over 6 million people walked to the ballot. Looked at this woman, the credibility she holds, looked at the confidence and vision John Mahama has, and gave them the vote. 106, Naana Opoku-Agyeman paired Mahama, gave NDC 137. You are saying she's a small meat. Oh, but damn. Mahamudu Bawumia with Ekufuado moved the seat all the way to 137 from 169. Bawumia did not have any impact in 2020 elections. He did not add anything to Ekufuado. In 2014, in 2016, Mahamudu Bawumia, it was the lies and the sympathy people had for Ghanaians that propelled MPP into power. He did not add anything to Ekufuado's number. Until the real number was in 2020. Mahamudu Bawumia could not put or add anything to the numbers he came to meet because the 2016 election was a vote out of sympathy and lies. In this all compare, Naana Opoku-Agyeman today currently, so Bawumia Shia as presidential candidate. Naana Opoku-Agyeman will beat Bawumia because when you do the math, Naana Opoku-Agyeman carries more force than Mahamudu Bawumia. Because Naana Opoku-Agyeman, the time she came in 2020 to be Mahama's running mate. She has never been vice president. She was never known. She worked underground. She was a former minister. Mahmoud Bawumia has been a vice president for 4 years. He still could not move the numbers. Nana Opoku-Agyeman comes in as a former minister and moved the numbers from 106 to 137. This is vigor. The NDC won 2020 elections. Unless you don't want to tell the truth. NDC, they won 2020 elections. Now, look at this. This is 2016 presidential. When John Mahama met Akufo-Addo in 2016. Nana Akufo-Addo was able to pull 53.6%. John Mahama, the sitting president, pulled 44.6%. Nana Opoku-Agyeman was an education minister. Nana Akufo-Addo and Bawumia pulled this number. They pulled 5.7 million people out to vote for them. Apart from the rigging and the pumping of fake vote in the Ashanti region, they pulled 5.7 million people in 2016. A certain president who was disgraced, lied upon, people framing him up. A government that was working that people decided not to look at the work they were doing. The government pulled only 4.8 million. Shocking number. You look around Ghana, their works are all over the place, but they're not pulling the numbers. What's wrong? Propaganda took over. The Akan media destroyed the NDC government. I'm telling you, this number 5.7, it was never real. About 1 million votes, they stole it in the Ashanti region and they dumped it in. But we move. John Dramani Mahama believes in consistency, perseverance, and truthfulness. He sat back and said, I need something here. I need somebody who can bring a new air, wave. We have worked. People know we have worked. But we need to go back again. So Nana Opoku-Agyeman came into the picture in 2020. See John Mahama's numbers. 2016, he made 4.8 million. Nana Akufo-Addo made 5.7, 53 against 44. In 2020 presidential elections, John Dramani Mahama pulled 6 million. From 4 million, Nana Opoku-Agyeman as his running mate, he pulled 6 million, 2 million more votes added to John Mahama. Nana Akufo-Addo pulled 6.6. He could not move. A difference of less than 700,000. John Mahama, Nana Opoku-Agyeman in 2020 made a gain of 2.7%. Akufo-Addo dropped. They made a loss of minus 2.4. And International Mekacho said Nana Opoku-Agyeman is more resourceful and more popular than Bawumia. Because Bawumia has been with Akufo-Addo for 2 terms. Bawumia could not propel Akufo-Addo. But Nana Opoku-Agyeman's first shot with John Mahama, he made the gain of 2.7. And this, in politics, is no joke, my friend. This is no joke. In politics, so-called opposition, 3 years, 4 years, now back to galvanize 2 million to add to your vote. My friend, you have won the elections. We're winning elections, no? This is Ghana. See the lies a kafa GM. Nana Opoku-Agyeman brought fresh breath, credibility, inclusiveness, hope, and added to John Mahama's vision. That is why we are here today. And if you are looking at these numbers, now I'll catch them and say, Nana Opoku-Agyeman, Mahama does not have to choose her, then you are foolish. Oyam Fantini, and you are not proud of this woman to gather all the vigor, go out there and vote for her as a Fanti, as a hunter, no with Jimmy, and Ninti and as Antifodi Bibe Yuzu Sabua.
Abusia Samuel Kevin Taylor for you. Na chile say or non so the wakandefa na Jane no we any the go subscribe to your channel for updates. Na amazing aka you talk too much. Mefa wo in see ahase